Hello, everybody. Oh, I think you're on mute there, Darren.
I am indeed. Good evening, everyone.
There we go.
How are we doing? You all right, Ben?
Not too bad. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. It's finally stopped raining, so hopefully everyone will be able to hear me okay. It was a bit loud earlier on, but we should be all right. Really excited about tonight as well.
Yeah, definitely. It's been one I've been looking forward to for a little while now. So, I'm really excited to see this session for sure.
Definitely. Well, we're not going to hang around at all. We're not going to waste any time. So, first of all, I just want to introduce Louise to everybody. So, welcome, Louise. Louise is an inspirational person I've been following for some time and have had the pleasure of kind of collaborating with as well. Louise is Director of Education, Community and Partnerships at Thinglink. Previously, Google for Education, where she looked after Scotland. If you've ever had anything to do with accessibility, you may well have come across Louise's fantastic, ever-growing Google document, Google Slide Doc on accessibility features as well. But Louise really has focused throughout her time on youth culture and how what's happening in the world impacts on young people and the way they live. And I was delighted when Louise agreed to come and join us on Short and Sweet to take us through a little bit about her own journey, but also principally as well about Thinglink. So welcome, Louise.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, that's a really lovely introduction. Yeah, it's really good to be here, and likewise, I've really enjoyed watching what you guys have done. Global Gag has been a joy to watch. The way that's grown, and I've really enjoyed seeing the way that has just gained traction. Everyone's talking about Global Gag and the work that you're doing there, and with Gag UK as well. But yeah, Global Gag, credit to you, brilliant.
Yeah, it's been really good fun, and I have to say it's been a kind of source of sanity.
Yeah,
doing what's been quite, which some people might not believe because it doesn't always look like a very sane environment, but it really has, and it has become a real family and network of people that are all working towards the same goals, and that's what it's all about, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, a real family vibe there, and I love it.
Absolutely. So just so that everybody in the chat knows, obviously, during the course of this evening, please do feel free to ask questions in the chat. I can already see Carla's popped in there that she's using your Google Slides document next week for some staff training, Louise. So if you've got any particular questions, please do ask. But we're also going to be doing some interactive stuff where you will say in what we actually focus on as well. So do stay tuned, listen in, and when you get the opportunity to put your kind of ideas forward, please do that in the chat, and we can have a little bit of fun with Thinglink. So I'm going to kind of hand over to you, Louise, and let you make a start. Do you want to share your screen to begin with, or do you?
Yeah, I can do. I'll share it in a second, but it's just to kind of, you asked me a little bit about, kind of where I've come from and where I'm going, and, how this has all kind of started out. And I absolutely adored my work with the Google for Education team, and have ultimate respect for them. And prior to working with the Google for Education team, I looked after the Highland Council in Scotland, which is 225 schools. And I was responsible originally for health and well-being and mental health. And then, of course, when Web 2.0 came in, sorry, Ben, I know that you're only 20 and you like to talk about it. Exactly. So when kind of the Web 2.0 came in, which was kind of read, write, web, when people could create their own content, my role and my focus really shifted on e-safety and the importance of thinking about how we keep ourselves safe online. So I incorporated e-safety into health and well-being, and then quickly realized that this, wasn't something that was going to be ignored, and we had to look at how digital impacted on the way that young people learn. Hence, I kind of went into digital learning. And what I really loved about what we did in Highland was to look at what the future of kind of technology would look like in learning. And we did focus on having things like G Suite, but we also had things like 365 as well at the time. But those solutions were born out of anywhere, anytime access and equity and inclusion, which are founding kind of youth work principles and youth culture principles. And then, of course, kind of BC, that was what BC, get it before, kind of came about. That was where we were at. And then we never in a million years imagined that COVID was going to be the boot up the proverbial arse of change. Yeah. And it was like, everyone was like, oh, it's going to take a decade to shift the culture with digital learning. And then you saw a culture shift within a day. So I guess of it is like, you can change culture if there's a need and everyone gets on board to change it. And I really like that as a metaphor for kind of thinking quite differently about how change can happen. And it's been proven now that with the right kind of mindsets and a boot up the proverbial arse, you can change the oil tanker like that. Or whatever. But going back to Thinglink. So after Google, I went to work for Thinglink, and I can't enough say that Thinglink is genuinely the nicest ed tech tool out there. Everybody loves it, and it plays nicely with everything. So it's a Google partner, a Microsoft partner, and it has untold uses, really. So I haven't come across anyone that's not liked it. So it's just been a joy to be part of the team. And one of my colleagues is on the chat there, I see, from Boston. So big hi to my colleague, Stuart Chafford, who used to be a Premiership footballer who now lives in Boston. So anyway, so Thinglink has just been another tool that's really grown throughout the last few years. And I thought it would be really cool to show you a few lessons from lockdown and the way that people are using Thinglink. And then I could do a bit of hands-on. Does that sound okay?
Sounds brilliant. Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to share my screen now and go to straight into my Thinglink. So this is what you see when you log into Thinglink. You've got your sort of welcome page, which has got some really nice ideas on it. And then you've got my media. And on your media, you can also create collections of Thinglinks. So I've created a collection of Thinglinks, which are some of my favorite ones that I've discovered through lockdown, which I was sharing recently. And the first one that I want to share with you, which is one of my absolute favorites, and that's this one. Now, who hasn't seen a Bitmoji classroom in the last few months? I know we've all seen Bitmoji classrooms, but this one was one that I thought, wow, this teacher here, and it's Amanda Pickard, and she's based in Scotland as well. And so she took this Bitmoji classroom kind of one stage further, and she started thinking about how she could really engage her kids. So she works with the little ones, and she wanted them to focus on building sentences. But what she also heard from parents is that they were feeling quite overwhelmed with having, being bombarded with kind of lessons ideas. So Amanda thought quite differently about how she could structure this in a way that was really engaging for her little learners, and parents weren't threatened and feeling overwhelmed. So she also quickly realized that if she wanted to connect with her kids and keep them entertained and engaged after a few weeks when the novelty was wearing off, that she could actually use another app called My Talking Pet and have her dog introduce the lessons. So how cool is this? And I really hope sound. So this is Amanda in a Bitmoji classroom, and she's got a little bit of a kind of strong Scottish accent. So her dog's got one now. But this is Travis, the dog.
Oh, we can't hear the audio.
Yeah.
Did you share your whole screen or just the tab?
I'm just sharing the tab.
Did you click the share audio as well in the bottom?
Yeah, let me try it again and see if you can do that. Let's try that now. Right.
It's well worth the wait to hear a Scottish dog.
Yeah, you've got to hear it. So, right, you ready?
Hi, everyone, brilliant. Travis here. My mum's 8-year-old brilliant. So that she wants you to focus on this week. Reading and writing sentences. I can't wait to read what you've written.
So, did you hear that? Right?
Yeah.
It's so cute.
I struggle with the accent, but
yeah, and then she's built on this. So
my mum says that you already know that sentences are capital letters.
So the idea is that she's created this base media of this Bitmoji classroom, and then you can start adding in these tags.
Click on the play button and have fun singing this brilliant song.
So she's then started to build in links to other edtech tools as well, and other bits of information.
A sentence needs a capital letter at the beginning, a full stop at the end, and a space in between each word.
And Amanda actually has quite a lot of learners that have English as an additional language. So Thinglink in the tags also has immersive reader built in. So that means, of course, that you can translate this into any different language. And then you've also, 80 different languages. And you can also have text to speech with that as well. So there we go. We've got the same
Een zin heeft een hoofdletter nodig aan het begin.
In Dutch as well. So instantly she kind of created something that was really engaging her learners. So yeah, I mean, she's had over 2,000 views on this, but it was just about kind of going one stage further. But then we saw that people were building on this notion of social presence and connecting with learners, and then started thinking about how to connect them to a physical space. So this example is Penybont Primary School, which is in Wales. And the reason that they did this was because they wanted kids to feel still connected with the places and spaces that they know and love. So they built this 360 tour, so you can go in the school. And bearing in mind, you can do this with your phone using Google Street View. You don't need to have a 360 camera. So you go through the school, and then pupils can go into their own classrooms with the parents at home, and hidden in the classrooms are messages, including the work. So I'm not going to play the whole tag, but she goes on about how much she misses the kids in the class, and she hopes they're all safe and well, that she's missing them. And she also sets the topic for the following week as well. And every classroom has got messages of love and support for the pupils in the school. And I just think that that's absolutely fantastic.
I love that. I think that's a brilliant idea, especially for young kids, but also your secondary level as well. I think for year 7 or 8 students, or students, your vulnerable students potentially, that's a real safety netting for them. I think that's great. That's really cool.
It's just, and it's so simple to do. So then if I go back to kind of my Thinglinks and just show you how other teachers and other students started to progress on this, then one school, which is my local school, they usually have a trip to London at that time, where the whole year group, year 1, goes to London on a trip, and of course they couldn't do that, so they built their own London virtual tour. And if you click on any of the links, obviously they open up an immersive reader, but they got each subject teacher to set a different type of subject according to where they were. So I think for here, you could go to, I'm just picking one out. So here you go into the Tower of London, but they've got tasks built in by a subject teacher. So your learning objective here is to understand who Mary Queen of Scots was, and then there's lots of like links there, and they can copy these and turn them in themselves. So they built this virtual tour, and it's all based on the tube map really when you go through it, but every single area here has got a link to a context and a subject, so it's really kind of brought it to life, and I just think that's a really nice example. Lessons from lockdown.
Well, wasn't it?
So I'm going to stop there and just come back and see if there's any questions, because I really want to just make sure that I'm just showing people. So Rachel, who's on the chat as well, the one and only, she did one of her Chromebook, which was like a screen grab, and she's put lots of different icons there to show pupils how to get, for your teachers to learn the buttons on the Chromebook. Katie's jumped in there. It was brilliant. Just so many different kind of uses of Thinglink. So
I must admit, I'm tempted to do one just for year 7 to explain what the caps lock does and what the shift button does, because it's my biggest bugbear. It's like, I'm not bothered about the other buttons. Just stop using caps lock for everything.
And we know how much you love a capital F in the chat, don't we, Darren? So
Absolutely.
Everyone loves the capital F in there.
Yeah, and it's really nice because, you know, if I come on to show you another example, we'll start looking at kind of the different tag types you can do. Because I've shown you a basic tour tag, so you can link your thing links together. But what you can also do is embed other docs within it as well. So you can embed a Google form in it, you can embed a Padlet in it. So you now can use it for kind of mandatory training if you wanted to, in the workplace or work-based context. And what's interesting is that Thinglink, whilst it's used in education, it's also used in enterprise. And for example, in one country, they're using Thinglink to do 360 tours of all of their substations, and the member of staff has to go in and do the 360 tour, answer questions, which is linked to their key card, and their key card will only give them entry to the building as long as they've done that training via the Thinglink. And it's just easy, like 360 tour. And you think that, you know, these kinds of things are going to be more commonplace in the future. And so it's
just today, like I had a conversation with a colleague, but I know there are loads of people out there. How many schools at the moment are taking, an image of their school site as a map and drawing things on it, writing things on it, trying to edit it to put as much information on as they can so that everyone knows where they're supposed to be in the building, but haven't quite got the room to get it all on there. And what a brilliant way of doing it. You know, click on the little icon, you can have a video, you can have a voiceover, you can have whatever you want.
Yeah, it's unlimited, isn't it? So Croydon High Street have done a Thinglink of a 360 of the high street, and they've put little icons where all of the hand sanitization stations are, and where you've got to wear a mask. So it's a guy that's based in Croydon that's done this under commission for them. Rachel Richards, she's one of my colleagues and in my community, and I absolutely love, and it was Rachel that did the virtual tour of London that I've just shown you. So it's a really big shout out for Rachel for doing that. She's just been awesome. So there's just so many uses, and I really want to show you something now that I've been involved in, which kind of then starts thinking about, you know, what's the future of EdTech and where kind of multimedia comes into that. So if I can share my screen with you again, if that's all right. So I've actually we did a webinar last week, which was called Return to Learn, and I'm really happy to share the slides. So this was a selection, so you'll be able to click on those, and I've given Darren the link so that he can put them in the Twitter chat as well. So this was Rachel's here, and then the students at Stirling High School created this kind of post-lockdown one-way system in the school for when they went back to school, and you can click on that, and they've made custom icons, so you can make your own icons as well, which is pretty cool. Now, some of you who know me have known that I've been flogging this to death over the last 5 years, and but the first part is the girl on the left. She, and this is part of some work that went on in Community High School where Rachel is, and prior to that, in my Highland role, we introduced the concept of doing learner journeys using Google Sites. And your learner journey had headings, which were pages, which were about me, where am I in my learning, how am I learning, what am I learning, my hopes, dreams, and ambitions. And from these, young people could put in examples of their wider achievements. So it might be hobbies, it might be things they're really proud of, the fact that they read a lot of books, the fact that they play shinty, which is like hockey, but it's really, really violent. The ball goes overhead. But what they were able to do through reflection of the learner journeys is to make these kind of visual CVs, which help them to articulate the skill sets. So Ailey in that picture loves Duke of Edinburgh. And what she's saying is that it's helped her to gain confidence. She can work as part of a team. And you can see the quote on the left that having that kind of visual CV made her indestructible at interview because she could talk about and articulate what she does best. And sometimes it's a struggle, isn't it, to understand what your own skill sets are. So
I think it's really difficult sometimes, isn't it? Some people just aren't very good at selling themselves.
Yeah. It's really difficult to even understand if you're good at something, if your confidence is shot to bits and you just don't even realise it. And there's a lot of factors that play on that, isn't there? So I thought with my colleague El Michelle, who's in the icon on the far right, how cool would it be if young people made these visual CVs and then they Thinglink them up and then they have a kind of personal CV, because you're not going to send this to an employer, but actually you could put all of your kind of video clips, or you could practice, like with those tags, like recording yourself or putting your own videos or snapshots of you playing hockey or speaking a language, practicing saying, my name is Louise in Spanish rather than, and being able to demonstrate that. And hands up, anyone that has literally put on their CV that they could speak a language when they can literally order a beer. I know I have. So the idea was that, you could have this CV, which is personal to you for reflection, and then you could use it to help articulate and visualize your skill set. Now, what El Michelle's been doing, and she's based in Tallahassee in Florida, is that she works with students from all kinds of diverse backgrounds. And we started thinking about, if you go onto Canva, for example, you can see the resumes of the future, and they're starting to maybe have a few images in and a few icons. But still, is this really enabling you to stand out? Do they convey your skills and experiences? How could those be kind of more engaging? And she then asked students to come up with the CVs of the future. And Stuart, who's in the chat, and I work for Thinglink. And I did this when I went to work for Thinglink. I created a CV and I just used my favorite picture, and I talked about why it was my favorite picture of all time. And then I put a tag in with a link to my Google Doc CV in it. But the whole thing was my CV. So I'm just going to open this link, and hopefully I might have to just change the one that I'm sharing because it's opened up in a different link. So I'm just going to share my screen again and then go back to the Chrome tab that it's got it in. Let's see if that's the right one. Right, yeah. So if I go on here, did I press the audio? Let me just do that again. Hang on a second. I want to make sure I get that right. Share audio, Chrome tab, Thinglink. Here we go. So now I'm going to introduce you to Daya Jones. And Daya has submitted it as her CV. And what she's been able to do is...
Greetings. I am Louise Jones, a third-year business administration scholar from Tampa, Florida, and I currently attend Florida A&M University. I'm an entrepreneur running my business called Daya Studios LLC, where I offer professional videography and photography services. You know that person that always notices the little things when watching a movie? Well, that's me. I'm also the type of person that actually sits and reads the credits at the end of every single movie.
So she's then put loads of other tags in with videos, links to her projects, and just some sort of text information there. So I'm just going to stop there and come back. So I guess what we're saying is that the CVs of the future. You can use this in school now to help young people create a personal kind of CV, which is about personal reflection and articulating their skill sets. And then they could create this professional multimedia CV or resume that helps them to stand out, but it also shows their digital skills. It helps them to prepare. It's genuine, authentic. And the other thing is, we're not assuming that the reader of our text-based CV doesn't have accessibility requirements or, has English as a first language. So all of those text tags will open up into immersive reader as well. So I think that when we think about the future and kind of ed tech and multimedia and visual solutions have got to be it, without a shadow of a doubt. That's my bit.
But for young people these days, that's the world they're living in as well, isn't it? Everything is visual, it's multimedia. That's what it's about. It's about getting your information across quickly and effectively in an attractive way. So it fits exactly with actually the skills they're already getting from social media and things like that. But particularly, I noticed on the second example on the previous slide, there was the one around the employability skills developed from playing hockey. Now, I'm a hockey player myself, so I love all of that. But actually, that's one of those things that students find really difficult. When you say to them, write a CV or write a statement as to why you want to apply for sixth form, they really struggle sometimes to visualise what them going and playing football at the weekend or playing cricket here or being part of a netball team or being part of an orchestra actually brings to the employment side of them as a person. And being able to pull that together is really cool, isn't it?
Definitely. By Jake, you've got it. That's exactly the sentiments behind the project, and those CVs can be built up over time. You can, like the learner journey Google sites, you could have Google Docs in that have got your hope, dreams, and ambitions, and you could hop back 3 years and look how that's changed with your version history in your Google Docs. So you're bringing in an element of metacognition, which we know is a legitimate strategy for learning how we learn. So I just love all these things. Get really fascinated by them. And I think that with Thinglink as a kind of project-based learning tool, because you can just go in and build on it all the time. Oh, Simon, your CV looks so plain. Well, maybe you can do one and share it with us. But so my colleague Stuart, who's on the chat there, he did a kind of graphic selfie, and then put in lots of links. So you don't even have to put a photo. You could put your favorite picture. I had a picture of my favorite classroom scene where I got all the kids collaborating in one of the smallest schools in Highland. Working on a Google Doc together, and it just will always be my favorite picture because you see the shiny eyes, the kids going, "Wow, this is amazing!" Discovering the power of collaboration. Just awesome. So I realized that I could just talk about this all evening, but we did have our next challenge. So I'm going to ask our audience, or you guys, just give me a subject, and I'm going to create a Thinglink from scratch. I've got nothing prepared, but I will create link and show you how easy it is.
See, give us some ideas. Chuck them in the chat. What would you like to see a Thinglink all about?
So basically, I was thinking about going on to do a Google search and grabbing an image and then just showing you how easy it is in our interface. And then if people hang on to the end and they've not had enough of me, Carla Bell says Scotland. Scotland it is, Carla, because you said it first. So I'm going to share my screen now and just go on to Thinglink, and I'm going to share audio. Right. So when you log into Thinglink, you get this page, and you see here that you can click explore and you can see other examples that other people have done in our community, and you'll see some of the ones that we've already had a look at. That's a great one here, this Innovation Lab tour. That's pretty new. So you've got this create button. So from here, you can upload an image, you can upload a video, you can upload a 360 image or a 360 video. And whatever media you choose to use, it has the same tag process behind it. So you can't go wrong. But what I should also say is that where it says upload video, you can upload up to a 10 gigabyte video, which is huge. So you don't have to use YouTube to store a video and share it with your students. You could use a Thinglink with a video, and then you could put all the tags onto the video. It's pretty cool. And we did that as part of our COVID offering. So on another tab, which I'm not going to share, I'm just going to go in and do a Scotland Google search for an image. And I shall download a lovely picture of Scotland. Oh, I know, that's a really lovely one.
And Scotland, we've got to have some of the classic drink out there.
I was going to pick something even better.
Better than drink.
Yeah, so right, so I'm going to upload the image, and I've just picked a really lovely picture, which is it's tiny. I'm going to pick a different one. Let me choose another one. Right, that just shows you live stuff is really live and happening here. So let me just find a different one. That's quite funny. Right, this better blooming work now. Okay, let me find a picture quickly of Scotland. Right, save image as. There we go. Let's try this one. So, right, choose your image. I bet this one's tiny as well. If not, I'm going to pick, I'm going to pick another one. Right, last go, doing something live. I'm going to pick something that's already here. So I have a really nice picture. Let me see. Let me pick one. I'll pick. Oh, that's cheating now. See, look, that's absolutely right. So here is a picture that I have just uploaded. It's a 360 picture. So you literally, when you upload it, I took this yesterday. Oh, no, I didn't. I took it last week. So when you upload it, you can see this hopefully, all right, you get this editor button, this editor view. So you can upload an image, a 360 picture, a video, or a 360 video. So here you're now in your editor interface. So this is a 360 image of Scotland. So I'm still keeping on topic, Carla. And then you get this lovely add tag. So here you can see it's given me this little plus, and I pop that there. And now I can add in text and media. So I can put my title, which is Loughinch, which is really good to me. I can add in a description. So I'm just going to do a Google search. Loughinch.
The cat wants to get involved here.
The cat is not involved.
Right. So I've just found a little bit of text about Loughinch, which I'm going to cut and paste into my description. And it's this text, this body of the text that opens up into Immersive Reader. And then I could put a button in there, like a call to action button. And I'm literally just going to put in the URL of the link that I got that text from, which is Wikipedia. And you can change that to click to find out more. There we go. So there we have it. I've now got a tag which is ready to go. But you could just have that text, or you can add in images or video as well. So I could add in further MP4s, or I could add in, and I know what I'm going to add in. I hope this works. So basically, I went fishing at the weekend, and I caught some mackerel. So I'm going to put in a video of me catching mackerel. There you go. So how cool is that? So you can add in images, and you can add in video to this, or you could even add in GIFs, and you can put in multiple images and videos. So if I find another image now, which is on my hard drive, let's just find another one that's really simple that I've got. Right. Let's find a screenshot of a map of Scotland. Here we go. So now you can see that I have the video and I also have a map. So you can just build these links how you want to. Now, that icon that I used was pretty boring. So I'm going to change that icon into a nice big, let's have a heart. I can change that into a nice red heart. And then I can click done, and you can see now I've got my heart icon with my video of me catching mackerel with Millie the dog, and also a nice map there. And you can have any kind of combination of text and video in these tags, which is really cool. So that's that tag. So I'm just going to add another tag in now, which is a plain text label. So I might want to just put some text in here, which was taken by Louise. There we go. So that's just a plain text label. And again, I can change these icons into anything that I want to. But the cool thing is that you can even create your own custom icons. So let's have a picture of me, because I created my own icon, so you know that it was taken by Louise. There we go, and click done again. So now I've got a text and media tag. I've also got a taken by Louise tag. And now I'm going to add in a really, really cool tag. So I'm going to show you the one that's add content from the website. So I'm literally just going to spin up really, really quickly a Google form. I'm just going to use one of the example ones because we haven't got a lot of time. And I've got a advanced to Google certified trainer quiz. How cool is that? That's yeah. So I'm just going to click send on my form and grab the embed text, the embed HTML, and click copy. So now back in my Thinglink, if I provide my code to my form, I've now got my Google form embedded into my Thinglink. And this works for Padlet. It works for Scratch. It works for Google Forms, Google Slides, Microsoft Forms. What else does it work with? So many tools. Google Earth and Maps looks incredible in it. And I can always change my icon there, and I've made a Google Form icon. Just
how clear
and there you have it. So look, we have a text tag, a Google Form embedded, which will look amazing. And I've got my taken by Louise. The very last tag I'm going to show you, it's the tour tag, and that's how we build our 360 tours. And if I put this here, excuse me, I can select the scene, and it lets me choose any other Thinglink I've created. So how about I then choose to add in another Thinglink, which is I know, that'd be pretty cool. So how about I put in a picture of the little cottage that I'm in at the moment, which is a holiday let, which I've just been renting. And I can just show you that that is the one that I've already created. I'm going to change the icon on that to a placed icon. Click done. And with the settings button, I can change the color scheme. So I made that nice and purple. I can set my tags so that they pulse and they bring in the attention of everybody. I can hide the logo if you want to, the Thinglink branding. You can hide it so it doesn't have the VR icon. Remember, these all work in VR as well. You can upload audio, upload your voice, and you can also change the architectural mode of how that looks if you wanted to. That's because I'm using 360. I'm going to click done again, and done. There we have it. There is my Thinglink with all of my tags, and then I can share this. I can share it by embed code and pop it into a Google site or a website. I can share it by link. I can publish it to social, and it will actually work interactively on, say, Twitter. Share to Google Classroom is built in as well. That'll hook up to your classrooms, and it'll ask you which classroom you want to share it to, and do you want it to be like an assignment, for example, or media. You can download it offline as well. It doesn't work for Chromebooks, but it does for PC and Mac. And that's essentially how you create it. So there we have it, a 360 of Lookinch, with various tour tags, including a little tour which takes you to the little cottage which I'm in at the moment. I'm sat here. So there you have it. That's it. I'm going to stop sharing now and come back to you guys.
It's baffling me. I mean, it's so intuitive and so beautifully laid out, isn't it? You know, everything has its place, and it's so easy to go and change things and add things, and just having that visual learning experience for students is a huge thing. And just seeing how easy it is there. It's not that's all I used before actually, but especially for things like the classroom tours or the one-way systems. I wouldn't have thought of things like that. That's a great use of a platform, such as Thinglink to do, and definitely something I'm going to go away and have a go at. Actually, the one-way system thing. I think it's a great idea.
Go for it. And so you can get a free Thinglink account. Any teacher can sign up, and that gives them 1,000 views of their Thinglink embedded. And then once they've used up their 1,000 views, it kind of pushes them back to Thinglink. Then a premium teacher account gives you the opportunity to add in 60 students, and you can share a folder with them and collaborate on Thinglinks. And I'm really happy to give a discount to anybody that's watching. We've got a discount code, which is RTL2020, which is 20% off, which we had for our Return to Learn webinar, but I'm really happy for anyone here to use it. And then there's a school district account, which is a bit like a G Suite tenancy, where all of your teachers and students are on one big tenancy, and that works out about £1.50 per student or teacher per year. So that's how that works. But yeah, you can go in and use it for free. If you are a Google certified trainer, you can have a premium classroom one for free as well. I'm very happy to do that. But yeah, I'm really happy to offer a discount code as well. It's the thing about Thinglink is that it is, it's got no hidden, it's not adverts, it's not a big paywall, it's not, using your data for something dubious like a free ed tech tool. It's really upfront and honest about that, because the main revenue source is that this is e-learning, and it's also used in enterprise. So it is probably one of the most philanthropic tools out there, I think. But it does have a sustainable model to it, because nothing's free, is it? Nothing's genuinely really free. This is a pretty good deal.
There's a question I'd like to ask actually. For those that are really inspired and intrigued about this, just the same as I am, is there any sort of webinars you guys run, or PD sort of learning opportunities, or?
Well, just as you say that, Ben. So on the Microsoft sorry, there's a train going past. It's the express train from Victoria. No, it's not Victoria. It's the other one. King's Cross. So yeah, you can go to, in Thinglink, there's a Return to Learn webinar link. So I'm doing monthly webinars now. And Rachel Kotak was on our last one last week. We are in the future going to develop a new Thinglink certified educator course. But at the moment, you can go to our YouTube channel. There's loads of tutorials on there. And I've also got a course which is creating visual learning materials in the Microsoft Education Center, where you can get a digital badge. We've got and if you have done it, you get my special Thinglink lanyard.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah, I've done it. So
you'll get it in the post.
I haven't done it. So that's on the Microsoft Learning Center, is it, that one?
Yeah, and I'm going to be doing Thinglink Certified Educator, Thinglink Certified Trainer, e-learning specialist. And then I think it's always a challenge when you do these things if you want to keep them up to date. So we thought we'd do a Thinglink teacher challenge on an annual basis. So one of our challenges might be, for example, to come up with a nice idea for your visual CVs, something that's really in context with what's happening in youth culture and learning culture today. So that's what our route map is. The other things that are in our route map, which is really cool, and we do listen to people, and that is people were requesting bulk upload for their 360 images, because some schools were taking like 60 to 80 images and they were finding it quite tedious to upload them one by one. So we're introducing a bulk upload feature for your 360 images, and it automatically turns them into Thinglinks, which is really cool. Yeah, that's coming. So yeah, it's a pretty versatile. I just love it.
Sure. Yeah.
And giving people a voice. I think that's that's important.
I think that's really important, especially given the COVID situation. I think young people have suffered during this time, and I think giving them their voice is really important, especially if we can't check on them in a classroom setting. We need to give them tools and ways to speak from home and in other situations. So I think that's so important, really do.
When I first started using Thinglink, I used it a few years ago and then forgot how good it was, and then went back to it and it had gotten even better. I worked with the Scottish Government Education Agency called Education Scotland on a project where young people were creating a poster of a relationships policy, and the policy was designed to tell people in the community what young people felt the behaviors of adults should be. And it was like, you need to make us feel loved. And this poster was incredible, and it was really empowering for those young people that created it. And I looked at it and I thought, but it doesn't really give me any idea about the young people's voices. So just to finish off, I'm going to share my screen with you and show you what it looked like, because to me, it was one of the main reasons that I started using Thinglink. So if I just go back to my collection, you'll see it here. So this was the poster, which was the relationships policy. And I just love this, poster, because it is really important that young people said, this is the relationships we want to build with the adults, and this is our expectation of their behavior. So now the pupils have created videos and scripted things to put in these videos of what they mean by those points. So
give each other a hug and feel love.
So now this poster's shared with, I just love this.
I feel calm and safe.
So she's saying, I feel calm and safe when you let me go outside when there's a storm in my head. Yeah. And that's what drew me to Thinglink, that young people had a voice. Yeah. And it wasn't just words on a poster. And that poster is now accessible because they've got text points in, and that parents that don't have English as a first language can then open that up in immersive reader as well. So I think I've probably done my time tonight.
I love that comment on that post there, just about making sure they get given their breakfast, otherwise they get very grumpy. That is very true, actually. The kids do get very grumpy if they don't eat. So that's a very valid point.
So does my wife.
Hangry, isn't it?
Hangry, that's it. Yeah,
absolutely. I live with it daily with my wife and my daughter. Lesson. No, I mean, Louise, thank you so much for tonight. We'll just give a chance for anybody, if they've got any questions, to pop them in the chat. But I'm so impressed with just how easy it is to put together as well.
Yeah.
And like you said, the accessibility side of it, yes, you could go away and you could make something that kind of looked similar. You'd have to spend a lot more time on it. It'd be a lot more complicated to put together. The chances are there'd be a link not working here, there, or somewhere, or someone wouldn't have access to it. I'm thinking now, what a great way to do a school newsletter, because it's just there and shouting at you. And that's what I love about those pulsing of those images. As you're going across they're calling out to you, come and press me, aren't they? So I think it's absolutely super. I'm really it far exceeded. I think, like you were saying, I had a look think about a year ago, and I wasn't really sold on what I could do with it, but I probably only looked really quickly, and I've used it a few times and then kind of came back to it about a month ago and thought, do you know what, having put everything else into context with COVID and everything else, actually just those little things like this is what your keyboards do, or here's a Google Classroom overview page, this is where you click on things, and sending that to parents rather than making them watch a 15-minute video. You know, what does that button do is really all they want to know. So
yeah,
those bits and pieces of just making it bite-sized information that almost like an all-you-can-eat buffet. Like you can have all that information if you want it, or you just pick the bits you want. You know, I'm talking about food again. Sorry.
Yeah, when we go all to eat, I'm guilty. I eat all of it.
Yeah.
So essentially, that kind of buffet style is universal design of learning in action, isn't it? UDL.
Yeah.
And you know, I think that's a really important point. And on another choice board that I saw, one teacher did different coloured icons for different types of levels as well. So the harder questions were red icons and the ones were blue. And learners could then do the blue ones, and then if they wanted to do the red ones, they could do. So what she was showing differentiation by the icon type, and very quickly the young people got used to which icons were which things, like a gaming icon for a game, or you know, a form icon like I used, you know, there. So you know, you can really be quite creative with that. And I'm really happy if anyone wants to get in touch with me, they want to share their ideas, it's just louise@thinglink.com. And yeah, I just can't wait to see what you come up with.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. I've got my head's just buzzing at the minute with potential ideas. Just let me just pop your email in the chat for people and spell it right while I'm doing it, obviously.
You've had a couple of weeks. You've had a little while off work, Darren. It's been 6 weeks holiday, mate.
My
a little bit rusty.
My fingers have got fatter. That's the problem.
Oh, that's what it is. Damn,
yeah, it's my fingers. That's where the extra weight is. Honestly,
it's the biscuits, mate.
Yeah. No, honestly, that's so much positive comments in the chat. I know you've been watching it as it's been coming through, but people really inspired. I'm certainly first thing I want to do is go away and tell all my trainer friends that they can come and get themselves an account, which is fantastic, because I can't wait to really dive in and use it a lot more. I think I can see myself using this an awful lot, particularly with my older students. But just as you were saying there, I can also imagine, you know, primary colleagues who've got, you know, table groups, and you might have green table, red table, blue table, exactly the same. Green table, you start with this set of icons. Blue table, you know, you can get your carousel work going through the Thinglink without the students having to move at all. You know, if they've got access to the Chromebooks, which at the moment, if you haven't got to have people moving around the classroom, that's a huge bonus, isn't it? You know, and then they can still work together.
I think as also, and I mentioned this to you when we were chatting before the session, and I genuinely think that VR hasn't been realised. And when VR headsets, I mean, Google Expeditions was kind of the first foray into that, and people kind of thought, yeah, that's brilliant. We can go to the moon, we can go to the pyramids, we can go there. And headsets have been kind of, you know, a bit of gimmick and frill and fluff. But genuinely, if you want to create immersive learning experiences in context, so for example, if you are doing kind of, you know, we call it developing the young workforce here, but I'm not sure what you call it in England, but you got the experience of what it's like to work on a building site on a crane at height, using a 360 image, and then you use that through either Google Cardboard, Oculus, or a headset like Class VR. You could have that experience of what it's like to work at height. And I genuinely think that there are more applications for VR and mixed reality, and we haven't really kind of cracked that yet. And I think that that's going to be something that's really powerful in the future. And that's not about just going to unexplored places, but places that are going to be really relevant in context and contextual for, you know, for where you are, culturally relevant.
I mean, on the flip side, I just want to add my penny's worth as well. I mean, we talk about students a lot here as well, but this can be used with a wide range of other contexts as well. For me, just an example, I work very closely with the facilities team here on the schools. So, you could do, as we mentioned before, the one-way tours, the system tours. And not only that, if you're doing induction for new staff, showing them where the fire exits are. Whereas, if you're looking at a control panel for your facility staff, label which button does what. There's so many different possibilities, and it doesn't just. You can apply it to different things rather than just being in the classroom with students and that's the only thing you use it for. Think outside the box and what else you can use it for in other roles in your job as well.
Yeah, I mean, you just saying that, Ben, has immediately got me thinking, the sound desk with all of those buttons, and everything else. Do a Thinglink. This is what this button does.
Yeah.
Put this one up and this will happen, and put a video with it that gives you an example or an audio that is getting louder as you're doing it, really make it interactive. I think it's fantastic.
It's endless, and I'm definitely, I'm sure we'll have a play when we come back to school properly and
definitely
investigate all these different opportunities. So
absolutely. Well, Louise, you've been absolutely fantastic. So thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
Your enthusiasm.
Always. I love watching you guys, and again, congratulations on Global GEG and the GEG UK and how that's gained traction. And
thank you.
Yeah, happy to chat anytime.
Brilliant. Well, we don't appear to have any more questions, so we're going to call it an evening there, guys. We'll see you all next week. But one big final thank you to Louise for joining us all the way from Scotland. Good luck with your move this week as well, and we'll see you guys next time. Take care.
Yeah. See you later, guys.
See you later. Thank you. Bye.